Do you want to make your own piranha plant with a live Venus flytrap? This project is perfect for Mario fans or really anyone interested in growing plants at home and carnivorous plants in general. I have been growing Venus flytraps for over 5 years and I have really learned a lot along the process. So today I'm going to walk you through the exact steps of how to make this project, which I think is a great project to get started growing carnivorous plants, and also walk you through the care considerations to make sure that you are able to keep your plant alive. And for that, I actually have a complete guide, which is actually quite popular, but through this video, I'll also give you some basic tips to get started. First of all, let's talk about the materials that you're going to need for this project. You will get started first by getting this specific pot. There's a bunch of them online, but in general, right, you want to be able to recreate that beautiful pipe. This one in particular does not have a drainage hole, which makes watering this plant slightly more challenging, but I still think it's completely possible to be able to water it appropriately, so you can definitely get this specific one. And I have all links in the description, so feel free to browse through. But there's also some options with drainage, so consider that if you're a very beginner as part of this. Besides the pot, of course, you also need the soil and the water. Carnivorous plants and Venus flytraps specifically are very picky in terms of the soil and the water that you employ. So you will need to use soil and water that do not have any type of nutrients or any type of minerals added to them. So they have to be pure water and pure soil. So for these, usually use carnivorous plant soil. In this case, I've made my own. Actually, you cannot really see it because I have put some additional like live moss on top, but I actually have made some potting media for these plants, mixing long fiber sphagnum moss and also perlite. And there's a bunch of combinations out there. I can give you some recipes as well, but it's also something that you can easily buy online. In terms of water, you need pure water, which is either rainwater, reverse osmosis water, or distilled water. Distilled water tends to be the easier option to find in almost any grocery store, so you can get a jug of that to get started. Of course, you also need an actual Venus flytrap. For that, there's a bunch of online shops, but also I have found Venus flytraps in many occasions in stores like Walmart, like Home Depot, and even Trader Joe's. When you get these plants, they usually come in a very tiny container, usually within a dome enclosure. That's something that you have to remove, and then we'll have to pot in this container, which is a lot more suitable for these plants because it's very tall, which helps with their root growth. And also in terms of the material, it doesn't really leach any type of those minerals that might be in some pot like a terracotta pot, so it's also a good choice. Optionally, you can also get live moss to be able to place right on top of the media of your Venus flytrap. I think it turns out really nicely, so I have added a few options there for you to browse, and you can see the final product at the end and how everything looks. Since I have been growing Venus flytraps, I have noticed that they have appeared in so many different video games and movies, of course, in Mario Bros, but besides that, I have seen them all over the place. So I'm curious if you have seen carnivorous plants or Venus flytraps specifically in any of your shows or games, pop culture in general. So feel free to comment below and let me know. I'll be super curious and very excited to browse through that stuff. I'm always interested in these plants. Now let's get started with the basic steps of how to make your own live piranha plant. First of all, you're going to start by moistening the soil. The soil is very hard just to humidify once it's already in the pot. So make sure to get a large container, a bowl, mix it with that distilled water until it's pretty humid. It's okay to overwater a little bit now that you're potting it for the first time. There's really no issues. You're also going to go ahead and remove the plant from its original container. This container, for example, is way too small. So what I did is I moistened the soil throughout to make it easier to be able to remove it, and then just use my hands to break up the soil on the sides and take it out of that container. And then slowly take out as much of the soil as you can from the root area. You do not have to remove every single piece of old soil from the roots of your plant, but try to remove as much as possible without causing too much stress. And then you will be able to observe some of the bulb area, which if it's pink and white in color, means that it's very healthy. At this point, it's actually a perfect time for you to go ahead and remove as many of the dead leaves that your plant might have. These black leaves are just leaves that have withered. They're completely normal, and you can take them out later on. You don't even have to remove it at all, but if you do want to take them out, it just looks more aesthetic in general. this would be the perfect time to do it. You can use a trimmer or use your hands. Just make sure to do it very carefully so you do not break up the roots. Now it's time to start the potting process. To be able to do this successfully, just grab your pot. You're going to grab some of the soil as well and fill up half of your pot on one of the sides with this soil. Fill it out without fully compressing it, and then grab your plant and place it vertically in the center of the pot, and make sure the roots just extend vertically downwards. Grab with your other hand, holding that on, grab additional soil, and then fill out the other half of the pot to make sure that your plant is secure. Press it along so you do not leave any air pockets, and make sure to add any additional soil as needed. Once it's set up, it should be close to the center, but do not overly worry if it's not perfect. Just grab some distilled water and water the top of your plant. Just water it from the top, and that will help the soil compress slightly and fill out any pockets that might have been created. I usually also like to press just the top of the soil to see if there's any holes, and if they are, just grab some additional media and fill those holes up. It is possible that throughout the process you might have activated some traps. If you have touched the interior of any of the leaves, those might have closed. That is perfectly normal, and even though it does create some type of stress for your plant, it's not going to kill it, and I think it's just very difficult to pot your plant without triggering any leaves. Just keep that in mind for the future. Now, as the final touch, I'm going to break up some pieces of this live moss that I've gotten. I've got way too much, so this might help me to put in all my other carnivorous plants. So I'm just going to get some pieces, and I'm going to cover the overall area around my Venus Flytrap right on top of the soil. I do not have to bury it. Just make sure to pick some of the areas of the moss that are very green and just place them there, and this moss is actually going to grow and flourish as you continue to water your plant. A bit of a disclaimer, your plant might not look its best when you're first potting it for the first time. Your plant might have come in the mail, you might have gotten it from a store, maybe it has not been watered properly or have not gotten enough light. That's perfectly normal. And also your plant is going to be in shock for the next couple of weeks just because it has been repotted. So give it time and don't worry. You can see here the before and after of my plant on how much it has grown in just about a month and a half. And I think it will continue getting better and better over time. I'll say for caring for it, there's really just some simple tips. First of all, make sure that you're always keeping your plant watered. Use that distilled water, never anything else, unless you get RO or rainwater. Those are your other two options. You're going to water from on top. Well, in this particular case, there is no drainage hole, so you're just going to water from on top, and make sure that the soil, when you touch it, it's always humid. It should never dry out. You do not have to soak it, so you shouldn't be able to hear water when you shake the pot, but it should always be humid, and this is going to help your plant always stay healthy. And the live moss that you have added, if you have chosen that, is also going to help with that added humidity. Venus flytraps love humidity, but they can also adapt to really any type of climate where you might live, as long as they are properly watered. In terms of lighting, now that you have your plant set in the spot, you're going to place it somewhere where it can get substantial amounts of light. Since it might have been in the dark in the past, maybe it was shipped or maybe it was in store, you're going to first start by giving it a couple of hours of direct sunlight, and a few days later you're going to add 1-2 more hours, and go like that throughout the next 2 weeks until you reach 10 to 12 hours of direct sunlight, which is the optimal amount. The more the better, but I would say the minimum amount of sunlight that these plants need, it's about 5 to 6 hours, but that's what I recommend for the minimum. If you can get more, that is much better. They can also live under artificial lighting, but for that you will need to get some powerful lights and run those for over 12 hours a day. And those are the basic care tips for Venus flytraps, but I would say there's a lot more considerations to ensure that you can keep this plant alive for many years. Kind of like a fun fact of Venus flytraps is that if properly taken care of, they can actually live close to 20 years. And for that, I actually have a full guide that I get into every single specific aspect of how to pick the perfect pot, the perfect soil, the perfect water. We have covered that aspect in this video, but what we have not covered is more information about dormancy, about seasonality, about temperature requirement, and some additional aspects as well. So make sure to watch that video. If you have liked this video so far, please give it a thumbs up. to help us spread this information to more people that might like this type of content.